What about you, Alicia?
Yeah, space. I mean, I heard you say space, Estee, and I heard you be saying reciprocity, right? So it's both of those. Like when the way I keep the community going and nurturing those relationships have a lot to do with a combination of what you both just said. I make sure one that I'm showing up in a supportive way that I know will be supportive to you. See, I think a lot of times we do stuff for people that we want them to do for us.
Right.
And when you're doing something for somebody, you need to know what's their love language. You need to know how you can support that person so you can show up for them in a way that is meaningful to them.
Right.
And that's the difference. A lot of people are like, I showed up for you in this manner. Yeah, but that's the way you want other people to show up for you. So you can't expect that person to recognize that this is important because you didn't do it in a manner in which it was important to them. Mm-hmm. So I love that. And I feel like when you are in a circle of people who are doing really big things, right? You guys are learning new strategies, learning new skills together. You guys are growing in so many types of ways. It's important to know that when they grow, you are growing, right? I'm a big proponent of when somebody wins something, I'll let you know, congratulations, I know I'm next, because like-minded people are going to be together. Like if you hanging around with 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th one. So you got to figure out and you got to know that that community is really, really important and hold space for people. Like Estee said, when she was going through something, she knew that like in this space, when I come to you guys, I need to come in this particular space. But she found out later on that we were there to support her in the ways in which the people who were dwindling out of her life, they were no longer able to support her in that space. And so hold space for people, let them be themselves, celebrate them when they have successes. When you guys are having a low, make sure you're encouraging one another. I feel like all of those things makes for a great nurturing of relationships.
Yeah. Cool. So, what do you think are, I think we kind of touched on a lot of this. What do you think are like some of the benefits of being part of, those types of communities of like-minded people or having those types of people, obviously having them in your corner, definitely a benefit. What are some other benefits you can think of for being in those types of communities? Go ahead.
Let me go. The capacity to dream bigger. Right there. Because in your mind, right, when we set goals, when we have these dreams, like we dream, but we don't really dream. We're not doing that like universal God dream where, you're going to need some supernatural, right, in order to pull this off. And so in my mind, I'm going to speak for myself. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It's going to create more freedom for me in various ways: time freedom, relationship freedom, financial freedom, all these different freedoms, right? That's what's on my mind. So I'm excited about that. You get around some other people in your community and you're like, oh, okay, where you see your business going? What's your dream? Oh, in the next 2 years, I'm going to buy a jet. You like, dang, all I wanted to do was have a little bit of freedom. I didn't even think buying a jet was possible. Like, let me put that on my list too. It gets that creativity going and it lets you know exactly how small your dreams are. So when you start hanging around people, who are like-minded and you get to see like a glimpse into like how they think, it helps you become like an even more devout thinker in the things that you think are possible for yourself.
Wow. I think kind of tying that in, it challenges you to be boundless, right? And I think exactly what you just said. You know, I told you in the other program that I'm doing right now, one of the things that we're looking at is removing the limitations, right? Because these limitations are self-imposed. So if you want
Yeah.
something big, right, you have to put it out there. If you only put that you want pebbles instead of boulders, you will only get pebbles. And so I think the benefit to these communities is you start dreaming boulders, because yeah, you can see that because somebody else is dreaming it, but at the same time these people are like, but why can't you get it? Right? And you're like, well, why can't I get it? Because you didn't think of it, but these people already, they see that in you. Like, nah, you setting your bar a little too low. You are beyond
Yeah.
that. And so I think having those cheerleaders that are like, nah, like you need to go bigger because we already know you have bigger in you. And that
Yeah.
that gives you that confidence to be like, you know what? I mean, they right. And I was just holding myself back. But these are my cheerleaders that like, we got you, you got this, go. And so I
Right.
think that's absolutely, so tying into what you said, it makes you think of boundlessly about what you actually can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's big, man.
The other thing that it does is being in community allows you to not have to start from the bottom, because you have people who, one, they're on the road with you, or they've already been there,
Mm,
and they're showing you like, oh no, you ain't got to start there. Look, do this, do this, do this.
right.
Bam, here you go. And so it gives you a step ahead. So trying to be a lone wolf and just go on it on your own, I don't need nobody, like you're not gonna get where you're trying to go. And especially for people who tend to be loners, you can't get where you're trying to go. I see you, Denise. Denise is like, yes, like you can't get where you are trying to go by yourself. You need
Right.
community, because community will allow you to be able to get where you are trying to go much faster. And further, I'm mixing up the proverb right now. It's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I messed that all the way
Mhm.
up. But y'all know
Got
what
the
I'm talking about.
We
Y'all
got the
know
point.
about community allows you to accelerate, because
Mhm.
you are no longer trying to figure it out on your own. There's somebody's brain who's strategically going to be able to map out for you. Like, say you have an idea and it's right there, but you're missing a piece. Having community who are doing the similar things as you, not even, y'all don't even have to be in the same industry, but you're doing similar things. And that person, having those people to bounce those ideas off of, they will see what's missing that you're overlooking, and they can be like, hey, look, you might want to go back and put this in here, and then bam, it's going to work out for you. And it's like, you are too close to it to see it. You need those other eyes. So it's so much better to be in community where you have other eyes that are able to help you get to where you're trying to go. Like, in being in community, you can't have that competition mindset. Like, you cannot come into
Right.
community thinking that these people are your competition. Like, you have to come with the mindset of, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, and we're all going to get what's meant for us together. And I think
That's
that
right.
is really important when you're dealing in community, because you can't see your community as your competition. Like, it just does not work.
You're
And
so
it's too
right.
much out here for all of us,
Mhm.
right? So like it's no need for all of that. The only competition you should have is with yourself to improve, to be better than you were yesterday. Like that's my only competition. Other than that, I don't worry about anybody else.
That part.
Yeah. All of that right there, right?
Holiday.
So it's funny, we talk about all of these benefits of community, but we sometimes are in communities that aren't exactly like-minded. This could be friends, family, business, name it, work, right? What
Yeah.
happens when you are in these communities that are not boosting you, or they're not like-minded people? How do you adapt, adjust, or deal with it?
Mm, mm,
I know, right? I
I
know.
heard this verse in a song yesterday, and it said, if you don't bring anything to my life, then I'm an exit yours. And I was like, oh, like, shut up. Like, I feel that 1000%. And it's not, it's in the spirit of reciprocity, right? Because I feel like, and that's just for me, if I'm filling your cup, but you're not feeling mine, this is not a mutual situation that we need to be in. Because obviously, what is preventing you from pouring into me if I'm pouring into you? We don't need to be in the same community, because I just feel like you don't like me like that. You can't. If I'm pouring into you and you have nothing to pour into me, you don't like me like that. Which I think.
Or it could be they have a different expectation of the relationship, right? They're not pouring into you because all they want is what you have, right? And so if I am constantly, like you said, if you're constantly pouring into somebody and they're not pouring into you, then they only want to be filled up by you, which again drains you and you leaves you with nothing. So absolutely, that relationship.
But that's real though, right? Because there are so many relationships, whatever type of relationships, like you said, and where people are not getting what they need. And so this is a real thing that we're talking about. And I don't care if it's professional or personal. Each one of us can name a relationship that is just like that is not mutually beneficial.
And for the ones you can't get rid of, how do you manage it?
Communication, I believe, is key, because what happens is a lot of times we might be in relationship with someone. This could be friendship, this could be, whatever the case may be, but we're not communicating our expectations, and we just assume that the other party will know. We assume that they can read our body language. We assume that they're able to pick up what we're putting down, and sometimes they are completely oblivious to us being able, like, you trying to get a signal, and it's completely. So sometimes an actual conversation needs to be had where it's like, hey, look, I just want you to know I'm feeling this type of way. Like I'm doing a lot of pouring, but I'm not feeling like I'm getting anything back from you on your end. And they might not know. They might have thought they were giving because of how they communicate or how they see things. So I feel like conversations are always important, but sometimes those conversations are not always had because we just assume like, oh, you should have knew that already. But sometimes they don't.